Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't think this latest piece of news surprises anyone, at least it should not surprise anyone, that we finally reached a point where the Ukrainian sponsors, which are the Americans and the British and whomever they order to supply weapons to Ukraine, agreed to transfer Mig-29s to Ukraine. No surprise at all, at least I'm not surprised. I've been saying that Ukraine will receive fighter jets for a long time now. The same with the tanks and with the long-range missile systems. They got the tanks from Slovenia, 80 tanks. I don't know if they were already deployed there or delivered. They were supposed to be rebuffed or something by the Americans and by the Dutch. 40 by the Americans, 40 by the Dutch engineers or whatever they are, military experts. And then we got the long-range missiles that the Americans, yesterday I read an article where plainly they said, well, in Melitopol, the Ukrainians use HIMARS, long-range HIMARS. That's why it was stated over there, just like that. And I thought that they were limited to about 50 kilometers. Well, I don't think they are limited to anything. I think they are free to hit about 200 miles within Russia. But anyway, so that's another one. And now the third one that was missing was the aircraft, the fighter jets. I knew, and I said it many times, that that will happen. Well, it just did. Slovakia will deliver the Ukraine Mig-29s. If you observe, all these trends are coming from, how should I put it, little countries. For instance, the tanks. So whenever there's sponsors escalate with obviously giving tanks or giving fighter jets, they are delivered first by these little countries like Slovenia, Slovakia, these countries, and the Russians cannot do anything to those. What are they going to do to Slovakia and Slovenia? You're going to blow them up or something? So they're not players. They just put their, they stick their foot in the door. And then other more advanced weapons will come. Kuleba is very upset that Germany is not providing Ukraine with tanks, and he can't understand why. They were in the talks this weekend, the Ukrainian delegation in Berlin, to receive Leopard 2 tanks from Germany, and Germany holds off, probably is waiting for those Slovenian tanks to get in Ukraine first, and then they will send whatever they will send. That's gonna come. I have no doubt that they will come. And not necessarily from Germany, but tanks will be delivered and more aircraft will be delivered. So let's see what's going on here with this article that tells us that Slovakia plans to transfer Mig-29 to Ukraine. That means done deal. This is from European Pravda. This is from today, December 12th. Slovakia aims to start preparation for handing over its jets in the upcoming weeks. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Slovakia, Rastislav Kacer, has said this in an interview with Interfax Ukraine. And I'm quoting, "We have not yet handed over Mig-29 to you, but we are ready. We are in contact with our NATO partners about the procedure." End quote. That means asking the boss, hey, boss, should we do it? Did you speak with the Russians? Do you think it's okay? Did we reach the point where the Russians just forgot about us or something? That's how it goes. According to him, they discussed it, among other things, at the last meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. And I'm quoting, "Our defense minister explained to our president how this could be done. I think a Ukrainian delegation will be in Slovakia in the coming weeks. Then together with the American friends," there's no friends, it's only vassal states and masters. So with your masters, we'll try to make it happen. I am very optimistic about this. I think it will happen soon. The jets will be in Ukraine, said Rastislav Kasher. He added that he did not want to disclose the details to not harm the process. Since September 1st, Polish jets have been patrolling the airspace of Slovakia. The Czech Republic and Poland had agreed to protect Slovak airspace starting after Slovakia gives up its old Soviet-made Mig-29 jets to Ukraine, with protection lasting until the new American F16 arrives. So this is how things go. Everything is economic. Everything is money and power and influence. Everything starts with money. So you got the U.S. military-industrial complex with its companies that are the ones that make profit. How do you do? A little war somewhere, like for instance in this case, hey, you give your Russian Soviet weapons to Ukraine, which old, however you want to call them, still do the damage. You're going to fight Russian aircraft and tanks and all that. And in the meantime, we move in with our industry, and you're going to get loans from our banks, from international banks. Okay, they're going to make a profit. And after that, you cut energy. All right, you're not going to buy energy from Russia because you're going to impose sanctions on Russia, and we're going to show up with liquefied natural gas. So we take over economy, we take over military, and we take over banking. So good job, Slovakia. All right, so these are the profiteers. I was personally very, very much interested to read in my life about the war profiteers. And it's unbelievable to find out who's who, what's what, and who are the guys who actually put the policy or push the policy of war in certain chancelleries in order to, make a profit. And then you find out that the same companies who promoted or pushed for war in this country are the same ones that pushed for war and gave money and weapons to these guys to fight the same kind of thing. The enemies got money and finance plus the weapons from the same guys who have a hanky-panky with one side to start the war. But anyway, just look into it. It's been for some time, this, including the financiers. It used to be the little bankers before. Look, for instance, in the Second World War, you're going to find what banks sponsored whom, and who were the owners, some owners of some banks. And you maybe you will be surprised, but if you're on the right track, you will not be surprised. Okay, that means you kind of understand what's going on and who's who, what's what. We don't know everything, obviously, but they are not so deep. We're not going to get to certain depths anyway, because those are too far from our ability to know. Why? The information is not going that deep. It's protected, and not only protected, you don't have access. And when you have access, that information is going to be deemed disinformation, misinformation, BB information, TT information. Okay, so what's going on here? These guys are going to deliver the Mig-29s. F16s will be given to Slovakia. Slovakia, who functions in an economic deficit, is going to get loans, and the Slovakian people will going to pay the loans and the interest. And their children and their children. I don't know how many F-16s we're going to get, but F-16, I think they were old, aren't they? Why don't they get the F-35? What's the difference? I mean, I know that F-16 was comparable with MiG, I don't know if 21, or I think it was with Sukhoi 35 or something, the flanker. But anyway, 34, 35. The point is, I don't know how many MiGs they got, but I will let you know, because it's a very interesting development. And they will get the MiGs, they will get the tanks, they got the long-range missiles, supposedly operated by the Ukrainians and developed by the Ukrainians, because as I said many times, I have my little mountain slope model, which these guys start with little and give you time and give you time, and then they up their game. So first they say, oh, we're going to support Ukraine. Okay, and then we're going to support by giving them boots. We're going to give them helmets. They're going to give them bullets. They're going to give them automatic weapons. They're going to give them, I don't know, some cannons. And then we're going to give them this. I'm going to give them how do you call them, systems, defense systems. They're not going to give them tanks, going to give them airplanes, long-range missiles, armies. The last one is nuclear weapons. That's not going to happen. But that's how they do it. And in 10 months, 11 months, they reach that point where they got it. Why? Because they have to get us ready to be ready to accept this escalation. How? By telling us about the Russian crimes, all these tragedies that happen over there, destroying the infrastructures, and so they get all of us on board. You can't say now, hey, you know what? Why would you do that? Oh, can you see? Let me give you. Look what the Russians did, and they can give you a list like this. But if you look on the other side, there's no list at all. There's no list at all, because you cannot mention any bad deed of Ukraine. Can you? If you read these guys, the free mass media, you will not find any crime, anything that the Ukrainians did. Do you think that's realistic? I don't think so. Remember that video with those guys, those Russian prisoners that were mowed down because one guy came with an automatic weapon? I think there were like 12. Where is that piece of news? Do you hear about it? You know what the Ukrainians said about that? They said, well, maybe the Russian military should train their fighters how to turn them in properly. Oh, okay, so it was their fault. Why? Because they lay down, you can see the video, I watched it, one from the drone and one from their cameras, lay down, face down, and a guy showed up from a little barrack over there, a little room. This guy mowed him down, and then they kill each and every one over there while down. Now that's a war crime right there. Those guys did not do anything. That guy, yes, killed the guy. But those guys over there, they were killed on the spot. The drone came and filmed them. It's available online. Did you hear anything about it anymore? Gone. Came about 2-3 days, gone. Now, put that in contrast with that basketball player, Griner, whatever her name is, Brittany. They was just released for the Merchant of Death. That was a big deal over there. She's like this, and the guy's like this, and they transferred it. He's going to buy a pack of cigarettes with $3,000. That's how the deal was. Remember how long they were talking about this nonsense? For months, and they will keep talking about her. They want to tell us everything about her. It's so important, but that massacre, gone, came and gone. Anyway, they're gonna get the MiGs. Good, more to follow, I guarantee you. This is just the beginning. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.